What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Backup Fantasy Sports. It is Friday, September 8th. My name is Ewan, and on today's episode, we're going to get into some Fantasy Premier League with a very early Game Week 5 preview. I'm recording this before most of the international fixtures happen over the international break right now, so please forgive me if there are any injuries that come up and if the kind of discussion questions fall out of focus. But on vacation next week, but did want to get a video out for the Game Week 5 preview. I'll be back for Game Week 6. Going to southern Italy to enjoy some sun before it leaves us over here in Europe. But enough about that. We're going to get into some FPL analysis here. I'm just going to touch on my team here real quick with a Game Week 4 review. 72 points, bang on average with the rest of the world. Captain Holland with his 40 points. I had 5 returns, rolled my transfer, was really close to Gabriel to Udogi. Decided to hold off for one more week. Gabriel did come back in the starting lineup, so that's interesting. I still got 1.5 million in the bank, but I did take a red arrow down to 382,000 in the world. Quick plug here before we get right into the meat of the episode. You can like and subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel. It goes out on both platforms now. Click that thumbs up button real quick. Any comments always appreciated. And you can follow me on Twitter at UN or You Out, where I post all of our written stuff on rotoballer.com, which includes weekly rankings, a staff roundtable. We actually just launched a new article as well called The Watch List, where we kind of look back at the last month, look forward to the new month, and highlight 5 players that we should be trying to get into our FPL squad. So yeah, check that out. Clicks always appreciated. Fixtures for Game Week 5 over a week from now. Wolves Liverpool kick us off. The early kickoff Saturday 12:30. Aston Villa Crystal Palace, Fulham Luton, Man United Brighton, Spurs Sheffield United, West Ham Man City, all in the classic 3 o'clock slots. And then Newcastle Brentford is the 5:30 p.m. slot there. Bournemouth Chelsea Everton Arsenal on Sunday, and then we get some Monday night football with Nottingham Forest and Burnley. So plenty of action over the weekend to keep us all entertained. Fixture ticker going here. There was an announcement last night from the Premier League that Luton and Burnley will make up their Game Week 2 fixture that was postponed in Game Week 7. So now Luton and Burnley have a double game week in Game Week 7. Quite exciting. Already getting that double game week fever. But for me, I don't think there's any reason to kind of rush out and grab those Burnley and Luton assets. Maybe it moves up the wild card window for a couple of people here, but for me, I have Kabore. I'll probably play him in those 2 fixtures. Everton and Burnley at home, like that's not bad. So could be looking at a nice little haul, but I don't think I'll be running out to grab any of the newly promoted sides more than I already have. Newcastle, Fulham, Manchester United round out the top 5 there. And then in the bottom 5, we've got Everton, Wolves, Arsenal, Crystal Palace, and West Ham. Arsenal is kind of interesting. A lot of people seeming to kind of heard some chatter this week that Saka might not be that guy anymore for the Gunners. So it'll be interesting to see his kind of team selected by percentage over the next few weeks. Everton, Tottenham, Bournemouth in the next 3, though. It's going to be hard to sell him before any of those. Man City at home, that's the tough fixture. And then Chelsea away in Game Week 8. So certainly something to think about. Liverpool's run starts to get a little bit easier as well. They're down here in 8th with Wolves on the road, West Ham, Tottenham, Brighton, and Everton. That Game Week 8 fixture is really, or Game Week 9 fixture against Everton is when Liverpool's fantastic run kicks off. A lot of people think about wildcarding there. I cannot blame them. There is going to be a lot of wildcard content out there this week. I'm not going to touch that as I'm going to be on vacation. There's going to be so much that can change between now. There's 2 international games to play for a lot of teams, so there could be injuries. So no wildcard content from me, but go check out the rest of those brilliant content creators if you would rather get some more advice on which team to wildcard in during this international break. For me, I'm just going to touch on 2 subjects today. I'm going to dig into some of the data from the first 4 game weeks and with defenders, midfielders, and forwards. Then I'm also going to talk about the goalkeeper debate because that seems to be coming up quite a bit in FPL right now. And then I'll talk about my transfers and just get out of your hair. Just going to keep this episode nice and quick. But in the digging into data for defenders, we've got Matty Cash here with the most expected points. This is from the Fantasy Football Hub, their expected points calculator. He's got 21 on the season, expected points 19.9. So not really outperforming. 2 goal involvements with 2.1 expected goal involvements per Fantasy Football Hub as well. So he's kind of right on track. He's been playing right wing a little bit for Villa, but they have had some defensive injuries. So it might be something to watch going forward. Does he kind of move back? Luca Dean, Alex Moreno's coming back as well. So lots of variables in that Matty Cash formula there. Ben Chilwell's up here, 1 goal involvement, 1.8 XGI, 15 points, 19.8 expected points. He's been taken off a couple of times at 60 minutes. He's still the captain. Reece James is still injured. I think it's more of a Chelsea chasing the game kind of situation that Chilwell gets taken off. From what I've heard and read from other Chelsea fans, it's just Mudryk kind of gets in his way. So need to watch that going forward. But Chilwell is the vice captain for Chelsea. He's going to start every game. Chelsea don't have Europe. So there's not a lot to be concerned about there. I would not be taking Chilwell out of my team if I was on wildcard. I would not. And I would probably be bringing him in because Chelsea still have some pretty good fixtures. Joachim Anderson here for Crystal Palace, 19.2 expected points, 23 points in total. He has 1 goal involvement, less than 1 expected goal involvement. So we don't really like that. Don't think I'd be going near him. Kyle Walker, no goal involvement, 16 points, 18.5 expected points. That's probably from Man City's lack of keeping a clean sheet. They did pretty well the first couple of weeks, but then that same old City that we got used to last year where they let in that 1 goal off the 1 big chance is backing at them. And then here, Purvis Estupinan, 17.7 expected points, 21 points returned so far this season. Most of that came during the first 2 weeks where he was brilliant, but even in game week 3 and game week 4, there were so many opportunities for him to assist, him to score. Had like a 93rd minute clean sheet wipeout against Newcastle last week. So I think even though Brighton's fixtures are turning into a more difficult period of the season for the Seagulls, I think I'm going to keep Estupinan. I would rather sell Gabriel in my own team, even Saliba, if you got him in game week 1. I do think Estupinan is going to be worth holding on to, especially just with clean sheets being so spare this year. It's really nice to have a defender with attacking returns in your squad that you can kind of just plug in there each week. Moving over to the midfielders here, the top 5 for expected points per the Fantasy Football Hub: Mohamed Salah, Bryan Mbeumo, Bukayo Saka, James Maddison, and Bruno Fernandes. Notable here that is Mbeumo and Maddison are outperforming their expected points. Saka's only down by 1, but Salah's got 23 points. He is on an expected points of 31.2. And Fernandes here has 18 FPL points, but his expected points is 24.23. So some of the former must-have assets in FPL are slightly underperforming their expected points, but Salah's here, 4 goal involvements. Mbeumo's got 4 goal involvements. Saka's got 3. Maddison's got 4. Fernandes has 2. All came in 1 game, but the XGI is really good for all of these guys. And Mbeumo's on penalties. Saka is also on penalties. Like there's 4 penalty takers here with Salah, Mbeumo, Saka, and Fernandes. So that is obviously paying dividends this early in the season. Salah missed his penalty, but he did follow it up with a rebound. As for points, Bryan Mbeumo with 33. He's been spectacular. Managers maybe got a little lucky last week with that late goal, but 6.8 million now. Like it's hard to argue with that value. So definitely, if you don't have him, I would still be getting him in. Um, he's too cheap at this point with how Brentford are looking this early in the season. So certainly a priority transfer for me if you still don't have him. James Madison here. Son Heung-min came in with a hat trick last week against Burnley, so that kind of threw things up for grabs. Madison's been in my thoughts since game week 1, since the preseason. I still don't have him. I don't know how this is possible. And now Son is there just kind of like winking across at me from the bar, and I'm like, am I going to get Son in my team before Madison? I'm not sure, but we will see as the international break progresses. Kind of listen to some stuff, read some stuff, see if Son is going to maintain that role up front for Tottenham rather than being out wide. That could be the difference between getting James Madison in the team or getting Son Heung-min in the team. And Bruno is, I'm probably just going to keep him. I brought him in when everyone was jumping off. Got him for the Nottingham Forest game. That was great. And yeah, I don't see any reason to kind of get away from him right now. With Højlund coming into the squad, I expect Manchester United to kind of turn around. Rashford staying out wide on the left, Bruno becoming more of a creative force in the middle. So for now, Fernandes staying in my team, especially with just how many penalties have been going around the Premier League this season, feels inevitable that Bruno will get another one pretty soon. Moving on to the final spot here, Erling Haaland, no surprise, leads it with 7 goal involvements, 5.5 expected goal involvements, 39 FPL points, and 33.4 expected points. But Edouard for Crystal Palace here is the surprise, 23.4 expected points, 3.3 XGI, and 3 goal involvements. Nico Jackson for Chelsea, 1 goal involvement, 3.9 XGI. If you watched Match of the Day or any of the highlights from that Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest game, you know what I'm talking about. If you have not watched them yet and you're a Nicholas Jackson owner, do not watch them. You will need a pillow to punch quite quickly. He only has 10 points on the season, but his expected points 23.2. Those Chelsea fixtures are still so good. I'm willing to give him more of a run in my squad moving forward. Evan Ferguson came through with a hat trick for Brighton last weekend. He looked spectacular, but he has picked up an injury apparently away with Ireland on international duty. They lost to France 2-0 last night. They could have used some of his goals there, but 25 points on the year, 20.4 expected points from the Irishman. And Julian Alvarez here, Erling Haaland's new running mate. 5 goal involvements, 2.6 XGI, really overperforming his expected stats here with 28 points and 20.2 expected points. Haaland, everyone has him. 92% of the game have him. Jackson's been fairly popular among the active managers. Evan Ferguson was considered in the preseason, but now with that injury, we're not really sure. Brighton are starting to play their European schedule in a couple of weeks here, so more rotation for the Seagulls. And Julian Alvarez, when seems to be in the right place at the right time, I just can't get myself there. If I was going to go with Alvarez, I'd have to move up from Pedro to him, kind of alter my team to a 3-4-3 with Jackson on the bench. It's a luxury move. I could move from Jackson to Alvarez as well, but with Man City starting to play the Champions League, I do trust Jackson right now for short-term minutes. Broja is coming back for Chelsea, so that's something to consider as well. But I'm going to keep Jackson in my team until I see him losing minutes to someone else in that Chelsea squad. Now we move over to the kind of like BC topic in the FPL community right now. It's kind of the keepers. Keepers have been a little bit sad this year. So I kind of wanted to see if there was any standout option lying underneath, like just right under our noses that we couldn't see. But the answer is not really. Aaron Ramsdale, Johnston, Emi Martinez, Mark Flecken, Andre Onana. These are the guys that are underachieving right now or having negative expected goal prevented at this point of the season. It's only been 4 games, but Flecken is my favorite here. The Brentford system still seems set up for their goalkeeper to score more FPL points than it probably should. Flecken Flecken's been pretty good. He's letting a one kind of unfortunate goal. Um, wasn't I wouldn't call it his fault necessarily. Same with Johnston actually. And it's up for debate who gets that new goalkeeper slot. For me, I have Pickford, and he's been miserable. Scored an own goal last week. I would love to get him out. I just can't use a transfer on a goalkeeper, especially when there's not really a standout option going around right now. Overachievers here. We've got Matt Turner for Forest. He will be in my starting 11 this week. Wish he was there last week with Chelsea, 5-pointer compared to Pickford's 1. Neto, Leno, Fotheringham, Vicario is catching my eye as well for Tottenham. He's making a lot of saves. He's got 21 points. XG prevented is 1.7. So he's kind of doing the goods there. Two clean sheets already this season. So who would be my... Oh, sorry. I got one more slide here. Expected points leaders per Fantasy Football Hub. Again, we got Ederson at 18.7, Flecken at 15.5. Robert Sanchez is just... I don't trust him at all in Chelsea. He looks awful whenever the ball's at his feet. Questionable decision making. Like the goal that he allowed against Nottingham Forest was dicey at best. Like I think Premier League keepers should probably be making that save. And it was not a good look for Sanchez. Nick Pope here in 4th with 14.6 expected points. No clean sheets for Newcastle so far this year, but he's got 14 saves and 9 points. And then Johnston is going to be under pressure from Dean Henderson down there at Crystal Palace. So he's probably a no-go until we get the all clear that Dean Henderson is just not going to play, but I don't think they would have brought him in to just have him on the bench. Here is the top 3 best in the net. I got Flecken first overall. I just think the Brentford system is very FPL friendly. There's no competition to kind of push him off of there. And then he's got Everton and Burnley at home in the next 5. So those are kind of 2 clean sheet bankers, we'd hope. Vicario for Spurs is my second choice. Strong start to his Spurs career. He's got some mixed fixtures, but it does seem that this defense kind of allows some low XG shots, and he is making the most of them with some save points. And then Nick Pope is 3rd here. Luxury pick if you have the budget. He's got the 3rd best fixtures over the next 5. He is underperforming his expected stats. So there should be some positive regression in the future for Nick Pope. Looking ahead just a little bit to my team right now for game week 5. With no transfers here, I have Turner in net, Gabriel, Estupinan, and Chilwell at the back. I've got Phil Foden, Brian Mbeumo, Bukayo Saka, Marcus Rashford, and Bruno Fernandes in the midfield, Erling Haaland and Nico Jackson up front. The second column here, game week 5 BT means before my transfers. So this is what the model sites think my team will score. So FPL Reviews got me at 54.6. Scout has me at 57, and the Hub has me at 61.4. Where if I do my post transfers, and the transfers I have in mind right now are Gabriel down to Udogi, and I've got Phil Foden moving up to Sung Hung Min right now. That gives me, I have exactly enough money to do that. So hopefully neither of those players go up or down. Otherwise, I'm going to have to make a tough decision about Marcus Rashford or Bruno Fernandes moving forward, or even Pervis Estupinan potentially, or Ben Chilwell. And I don't really want to do that. So the post transfer here, the 3rd column, Review has me going up from 54.6 to 59. Scout has me a little bit less of a jump, going from 57 to 58.8. And the Hub has me going from 61.4 to 64.6. FPL Review gave me 3 options to transfer in as of right now on Friday, September 8th. So option 1 would be Baldock from Sheffield United to Trippier and Foden to Gibbs White. Option 2 was Estupinan to Trippier. And option 3 was Estupinan to Schär and Foden to Son. Out of these 3 options, I do think that option 3 is my favorite. Schär getting in a Newcastle asset seems pretty nailed at the back. A little bit of attacking threat, and then getting Son in for Foden. If we can get some confirmation that Son is going to continue playing up front and Richarlison is not really going to be the guy in that Tottenham system, I will definitely be making that transfer. Son will be coming in for that little run that Tottenham has coming up over the next few weeks. And then over at the hub, they have me selling Gabriel for Trippier and selling Saka for Madison. So getting rid of all my Arsenal assets and getting Madison in and Trippier in. So that is a little spicy. It's a little bit out there. Getting rid of Saka. Although, like I was saying at the top of the episode, some people are saying that maybe he's a little bit off it this year. He's got the points, but it's not looking as great as it was last season. And then just getting rid of the Gabriel headache. But he gave me hope last week with his start against Man United. But that's going to do it for the Game Week 5 preview. No wildcard content, like I said. For me, go check out the rest of the content creators. I'm sure that's going to be a massively popular topic in the FPL community next week. One last plug here. You can follow me on Twitter at @UInOrYouOut, where we'll be posting our staff roundtable, our rankings. Jamie Steed will have his betting article. Brandon will have his DFS picks, and our September watch list. The new article is going to be up and running. It's already live. You can just follow me on @UInOrYouOut, and it's the pinned tweet right there. So go check it out. And then just like and subscribe to the channel or the podcast wherever you are watching or listening. But good luck in Game Week 5, and I will talk to you next time.